Sometimes the most professional persons meet a requirements that could not handle it all, remain hidden until an unexpected moment brings them into the light. What happened when paramedic David Chen stood at the Family Feud podium would reveal a decade-old secret that would leave Steve Harvey speechless, demonstrate the extraordinary ways our lives intersect without our knowledge, and remind millions of viewers that every act of kindness creates ripples we may never fully comprehend. Before we explore this remarkable story of fate, heroism, and the invisible threads that connect us all, please subscribe to our channel and activate notifications. This story will change how you think about every stranger you meet and every small act of service you perform. The Chen family, from Seattle, Washington, had arrived at the Family Feud studio in April 2024 for what they believed would be a regular taping. David Chen, a 42-year-old paramedic with Seattle Fire Department, served as team captain. Alongside his wife Marie, a pediatric nurse, his brother James, a high school science teacher, his sister Lisa, an accountant, and his mother Grace, a retired librarian who had immigrated from Taiwan 45 years earlier. David had been reluctant to apply for the show. As someone who spent his days saving lives and dealing with medical emergencies, he found it difficult to get excited about a game show. However, his family had insisted, particularly his mother Grace, who had watched Family Feud religiously since learning English through American television programs. In the 1,970 seconds, for her 70th birthday, the family had surprised her with the acceptance letter from the show's producers. The Chens were competing against the Williams family from Atlanta, a vibrant group of educators and entrepreneurs who brought infectious energy to the studio. The atmosphere was light and celebratory, with both families exchanging warm greetings before the taping began. David carried himself with the quiet confidence of someone accustomed to high-pressure situations. His paramedic uniform badge, which he wore as a pin on his jacket for good luck, caught the studio lights. He had been with Seattle Fire for 18 years, having joined shortly after completing his paramedic certification. His colleagues had given him the nickname Ghost because of his ability to appear exactly when needed most, seemingly materializing at critical moments during emergencies. Steve Harvey entered the studio with his characteristic energy, immediately putting both families at ease with his warm-up routine. He had been hosting Family Feud for over a decade, but he approached each show with genuine enthusiasm, knowing that for many families, this appearance represented a lifetime dream. The game progressed with both families displaying impressive knowledge and quick thinking. The Chens had taken an early lead with strong showings in rounds about household items and daily routines, while the Williams family had excelled in categories about entertainment and pop culture. During the third round, something unusual occurred. The question was about common reasons people call 911. David, given his profession, should have dominated this category, but he seemed distracted. He kept glancing at Steve Harvey with a peculiar expression, as though trying to place something familiar. His family noticed his distraction, but attributed it to the pressure of the game. When David finally buzzed in with heart attack as his answer, Steve made a casual comment that would prove more significant than anyone realized. Heart attack? Yeah, that's a scary one. I actually had a close call myself about 10 years ago. Grateful to still be here. The comment passed quickly as the game continued, but David's expression had changed. His eyes widened slightly, and he seemed to be calculating something in his mind. The Chens ultimately won the main game with a score of 312 points, earning the right to play fast money for $20,000. As the family huddled to decide who would participate, David volunteered to go second, which surprised his family since he typically preferred to go first in any competitive situation. His mother Grace would go first, fulfilling her dream of participating in the fast money round she had watched countless times from her living room. Grace performed admirably, scoring 156 points despite her nervousness. This meant David needed just 44 points to win the $20,000 prize. As he walked to the podium, his paramedic pin caught the light again, and Steve Harvey noticed it for the first time. "I see you're a paramedic, David," Steve commented while they set up for the round. "Thank you for your service, man. You guys are real heroes." David nodded, his expression serious. "We just do what we're trained to do, Mr. Harvey." Sometimes we're fortunate enough to be in the right place at the right time. The phrase hung in the air for a moment before Steve continued with the process. Game set up. All right, David, your mother got you 156 points. You need just 44 more for $20,000. That should be easy for someone who stays cool under pressure, right? David placed his hands on the podium, and for a moment, his professional composure seemed to waver. Mr. Harvey, before we start, can I ask you something? You mentioned having a heart issue about 10 years ago. Was that in Los Angeles, by any chance? November 2014? Steve's expression shifted from his usual jovial demeanor to confusion. Yeah, actually it was. How did you? He paused, studying David more carefully. David reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, worn piece of paper. Mr. Harvey, I need you to know something. I wasn't always with Seattle Fire. 10 years ago, I was working with Los Angeles County Fire Department. On the 15th of November 2014, at 2:47 a.m., we received a call about a man experiencing severe chest pain at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Steve's face had gone pale. The studio audience was completely silent, sensing they were witnessing something extraordinary. The producers were gesturing frantically, unsure whether to stop filming or continue capturing what was clearly an unscripted moment. David continued, his voice steady but emotional. The patient was having a widowmaker heart attack, a complete blockage of the left anterior descending artery. We had maybe minutes to act. I performed emergency procedures in the ambulance, while my partner drove. The patient kept saying he had to survive, because he had shows to tape, a family to provide for, and work that wasn't finished. Steve Harvey stood frozen, his hand gripping the podium for support. His eyes were filling with tears as the memory flooded back. That patient's name was Broderick Stephen Harvey, David said, his own voice now thick with emotion. You probably don't remember me, Mr. Harvey. You were in and out of consciousness, but I rode with you all the way to Cedars-Sinai. I stayed until you were stable. I even came back the next day to check on you, but your family said you were sleeping. The revelation hung in the air like electricity. Steve Harvey, the man known for his quick wit and endless words, was completely speechless. The camera captured as recognition dawned on his face, followed by an overwhelming wave of emotion. You. Steve's voice cracked. You're the paramedic, who? Oh my God. He stepped away from his podium and walked toward David, his movements slow and deliberate, as though afraid the moment might shatter if he moved too quickly. David met him halfway, and what followed was not the typical professional handshake or brief hug common on game shows. Steve Harvey embraced David Chen with the intensity of someone holding on to life itself. The two men stood there, locked in an embrace that transcended the usual boundaries of host and contestant, becoming instead two human beings connected by the most profound experience possible, the saving and receiving of life.